Today marks the beginning of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, and while the Flames unfortunately will not be competing to capture sports' best trophy, that doesn't mean that the postseason is meaningless for the organization. In fact, through some of the trades and deals that the Flames made this season, it'll have certain fans cheering for certain teams so that the Flames do end up getting some better draft picks through the conditions that were made in some of these deals. Welcome to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe because less than 20% of the people are watching. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around the Calgary Flames, then make sure you join the fastest growing community of Flames fans on the internet. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And like I said, playoff time, it's a wonderful, wonderful time of the year. You know, we get to see some great goals, some grittier games, playoff overtime. Come on, is there anything better than that? And while no players will be doing that in a Flames jersey this season, there is still some meaningful hockey for the organization. And through some of the trades that the Flames made, you know, might have you cheering for certain teams that you didn't think you would be. Now, let's start with an opponent the Flames have faced in the playoffs themselves a few times lately. It is the Dallas Stars. Yes, Flames fans might be cheering for Dallas a little harder this year in order for them to get another pick. And I know the Flames are very familiar with Dallas in the playoffs. We've seen what playoff Ottinger is all about and how gritty some of their players get. Jamie Benn in the playoffs, man, he is built for the playoffs in terms of his aggression and getting under people's skin. But you know what? This video is kind of going to be a guide of maybe this is who the Flames or Flames fans should be cheering for. I mean, I know we all have our preferences. We have our biases. For me personally, I'm not a huge Oilers fan. I'm not a huge Canucks fan. Probably won't be cheering for them. If I told you who I was cheering for to win the cup, I'd probably get flamed. Pun intended. But anyway, let's take a look at the NHL playoff bracket here. This is this year's edition of the bracket. And as you can see in the very top left, the Dallas Stars, they locked down number one spot in the Central, number one spot in the West. And they've got, you know, a pretty hard path to get far into these playoffs. Vegas is no slouch in the first round. And if they make it past Vegas, then very tough between the Jets and Avs. Whoever makes it out of that absolute dogfight of a series, that one is going to be very enjoyable. Now let's get into the actual condition here. What do the Flames need the Stars to do? Well, Chris Tanev was acquired by the Dallas Stars from the Calgary Flames in a 3-team trade also involving the New Jersey Devils. Calgary acquired defenseman prospect Artem Grushnikov and the Stars' second-round pick in the 2024 NHL Draft and a conditional third-round pick in the 2026 NHL Draft. If the Stars do not advance to the 2024 Stanley Cup Final, the Flames will not receive the third-round pick at all. New Jersey received Dallas's fourth-round pick in the 2026 draft as well for part of that deal. So, essentially, what is being said here? Well, if the Flames want a third-round pick in 2026, they need the Stars to make the Stanley Cup Final this season. And a lot of people will say, whatever, it's a third-round pick, who cares? Third-round picks are pretty valuable, whether you use it to draft a player for your future or use it as an asset in a future trade or anything like that. You know, it's valuable to have. And it's better to have more picks than less. So it would actually be really, really nice if Chris Tanev could lead the Dallas Stars to the Cup Final. Thankfully, it doesn't say the Stars have to win the final because that would be the most ridiculous condition on a pick. And usually these trades you see, okay, if we make it to the final, we'll give you a third-round pick. If we don't make it to the final, we'll give you a fifth kind of thing. Something like that. Usually it's one or the other, not you get it or you don't completely, which is pretty funny here. So once again, if the Stars make the finals this year, the Flames will get a third-round pick a couple years from now. And then obviously, Flames fans will be hoping Dallas Stars, they kind of regress in the next couple of years, and that could be a higher-end pick in the third round. But either way, I think Flames fans will be more likely to cheer for the Stars, knowing that this condition and this stipulation exists. And I think a lot of people will also just want to see Chris Tanev raise the cup. Who knows? Maybe he raises the cup this year, then boom, he's done with that. He can come back to Calgary and be a stud on the blue line once again. Now let's get into the other big stipulation here, and it is the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, I know the Western Canadian rivalry will not have most of the sea of red cheering for the Vancouver Canucks. I know there's a lot of people who also, they support the Canadian teams. They want a Canadian team to win the cup. That's great. That's fair. But Vancouver, it's hard to cheer for them as Flames fans, and I totally understand that. But once again, there's a little condition here that might have you feeling some type of way. So the Flames have their own 4th round pick. They also have a conditional 4th round pick as a result of the Lindholm trade. If the Canucks make the Western Conference Finals this season, they will send the Flames their own 3rd round pick. If they don't, the Flames will receive the 4th round pick that once belonged to the New Jersey Devils. The Canucks acquired this pick when they traded away former Flame Curtis Lazar last season. So at least in this case, it's not either you get a pick or you don't. It's if the Canucks make the West Final, then the Flames get a 3rd round pick. If they don't, the Flames get a 4th round pick. And now a 3rd round pick is more valuable than a 4th round pick. So it would be pretty valuable if the Canucks make it to the Western Conference Final. Now, on the other side of that is, of course, the fact that Vancouver traded away their 1st round pick to Calgary for this year. So if the Canucks completely burn out, then that means the Flames get a higher pick in this year's draft. So that one is a little bit more, up for debate, whether you'd have, maybe closer to a 20th overall pick than to just have a 3rd round pick instead of a 4th. So which is more valuable, having, if let's say Vancouver does make the West Final, that means the Flames will get a pick between 29th and 32nd this year overall. If they crash out early, then that means they might get, 20th. We'll call it around there. We'll say 20th. Maybe it's probably closer to about 24th or so, just because Vancouver finished higher up in the standings. But a 24th overall pick, which is obviously higher, and then the Flames would get a 4th round pick instead of a 3rd. So would you rather have, let's call it one number. Would you rather have the 30th overall pick and a 3rd round pick, or the 25th overall pick with a 4th round pick? I don't know. It's up for debate. But either way, I think this will maybe sway a lot of Flames fans to cheer for Vancouver, but it'll also, I think, more so give the Flames fans even more reason to not cheer for Vancouver and hope they crash out and burn early so that the Flames can get a higher overall pick in this year's draft. Now let's quickly take a look at the bracket again to see Vancouver's path. They won the Pacific, and they will be facing the Nashville Predators, who have been very, very good lately. So that's extremely interesting. That should be a very good series. And then if Vancouver were to progress to the next round, then they would face either Edmonton or LA. Neither of them are slouches. Imagine a Vancouver-Edmonton playoff series in the second round. As a Flames fan, that's nightmare fuel, really, but it could be a very entertaining series for just a casual fan. But either way, if the Stars and Canucks end up facing in that Western Conference Final, and then the Stars move on to the final, I mean, in terms of picks, that's the best scenario for the Flames. If you don't want the Flames to get, around 25th overall pick this season. There are a few other teams in the playoffs that the Flames have traded with in the pretty recent days. Obviously, Vegas Golden Knights have Noah Hanifin, traded, of course, with Florida with the Matthew Tkachuk trade, and they made the Cup final last season. So lots of implications for the Flames in these playoffs, but obviously they're not competing themselves, which is too bad. Now, speaking of the NHL and the playoffs, let's talk about the bracket challenge. I know in a video yesterday I said that there is a Flames Digest bracket challenge group, and if you want to join, it would be super, super fun. It'd be cool to see who can be crowned the champion in the Flames Digest community. The bragging rights you will have in the comments is going to be insane. I submitted my bracket already, but if you need to take a look, just look up Flames Digest bracket challenge under the NHL's bracket challenge. That is what the group is called. And if you want to make it super simple, just click the link in the description of this video and it will take you right there. It's super easy to make a bracket and it's a lot of fun. I want to see what you guys have come up with. Hopefully there's not too many Oilers as the Stanley Cup champs. We do not need to manifest that. Now let's get into the comment of the day. I know I didn't do a single comment of the day in either of yesterday's videos. I apologize for that. But I grabbed one that went really well with the Flames' season as a whole, let's say. So this is from Bill G763. I hope that's Bill Guerin. But he said, given all the changes we've seen, a new GM, new coaches, new defensive scheme, losing a player to criminal proceedings, losing players to waivers, trading 7 UFAs and all its drama, integrating new players, integrating 4 rookies, reintegrating a player who missed a year and a half. Wow, that really was a lot of changes. It was a crazy season. I'd say we weren't half bad. We were in the race for a playoff spot right up until a week or so ago. So it is a start of a new beginning. That is a beautiful way to end that. It is a new beginning. Sure, the Flames are knocked out of the playoffs, and it really does suck to be missing out on the playoffs for a second straight season because playoff hockey is so fun. I really wish the Flames were in it, but it's such a good way to look at it. It's new beginnings. All the changes that the Flames went through, all of the BS really that the Flames went through this season is all behind us now. The franchise is in a place where they can move forward and completely progress, look at the future, and rebuild and do what they need to do in order to look forward. No need to look back now. All these changes are behind us. The team will be the team next year, and there's potential to grab some really good players at this year's draft. So it's exciting times. It's new beginnings. Hopefully this was the last disappointing season, I guess we'll say, and the future can start to rebuild in the coming seasons, and the Flames can contend very, very soon. That would be exciting. But please enjoy the playoffs. I know it'll be super fun to watch some of the games tonight and over the weekend. And join the Bracket Challenge group if you'd like to be a part of that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and enjoy the rest of your day.